G'day everyone, welcome to another edition of Guvs Hero Review videos. Today we are going to be continuing in our Mechanoid Heroes series, taking a look at the 5-star legendary yellow hero, Judge, there he is, the Shotgun Specialist. So Judge is available for summons, as we saw from the Mechanoid Menace portal, which rolls around once every 8 weeks, as it's on a month-on-month off rotation with the Monster Island event. Unfortunately, as we saw there are no featured heroes in this portal. There's nothing off to the side here, so what that means is that 1.2% chance to summon a legendary event hero could be any of the event legendary heroes. So it's as likely to be Judge as it is to be anyone else from the portal. Judge has been in the game for quite a long time. He was introduced during the first edition of the Mechanoid Menace event back in March 2021. The portal's been expanded a couple times since then, with some heroes added in April 2022 and then in the June 2023 update as well. His artwork, so I'm just going to duck across to my roster and we can take a look at what his artwork is. Where is he? No emblems, there he is. So his artwork is as shown. So he's got a giant stuff-off shotgun, and like a little bit of a helmet going on for some riot guard sort of stuff, I guess. Big beefy boy, but yeah, that's his artwork. So pause it, look at it if you wish, but we'll head back to the portal and continue discussing his abilities and stuff. So he is a member of the Mechanoids family, which does mean that Judge has given a 12, 18, 24 or 30% chance to perform a support attack against the main target of an ally's special skill if there are 2, 3, 4 or 5 unique members of the Mechanoid family in the battle. A little bit going on with that mouthful, but basically what it's saying is that you have to, if you've got multiple unique heroes, so it can't be 2 copies of Judge, it's got to be like Judge and Terminus or Judge and Quattro, for example. But if you've got 2 or more unique heroes, you generate a chance to execute a support attack when one of your allies casts their skill. So if your ally shoots a special skill, there's an X percentage that Judge will also do a support attack against them. So a support attack, for those that don't know, is a 100% snipe on the specified target. Mechanoid family members will also gain a bonus when they're used in the Mechanoid Menace event. Specifically, they gain a stat bonus of plus 4, 8, 12, 16 or 20% to their attack and defense stats when you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 unique Mechanoid family members in your team. So note that this only applies when you're using the heroes actually in the Mechanoid event stages. It doesn't apply at any other time or in any other area or format of the game. In terms of Judge's personal stats, he comes in with 695 attack, 681 defense, and 1403 HP. So I will say he does have one of the lower stat lines, so because he is part of the older batch of Mechanoid heroes, so his stat line is lower than some of the new heroes in the game. But these stats themselves, the 695, 681, and 1403, they are pretty balanced. There's not really any skewing towards any one of the stats, and they're pretty normal for a hero of that time. His charge speed, which is set to 47, is average speed and requires 11 tiles to charge or 6 ghosted tiles. A speed break requires just plus 3, which you can do using literally any of the yellow speed guns, including the 3-star option, which grants plus 3 speed. A double break needs plus 11, which can't actually be achieved at the moment because the best available speed gun in yellow is the plus 7 4-star Tris Vector. So because of that, there's no real reason to grab the class node at all, but there's also no reason that you shouldn't be speed breaking Judge, because you can do it with a 3-star, a 4-star, or a 5-star speed gun. Speaking of his class, Ridge is a member of the Warfighter class, which grants the hero a chance to revive with 1 HP when they would take normally fatal damage. It is somewhat of a game-changing effect, like it can trigger at the most inopportune times or the most fortunate times, as the case may be. It has had a bit of a sordid history. It has been proven and acknowledged to have been bugged, but it's also subject of frequent conspiracies that it is still bugged to this day. So generally speaking, I do advise that you put a talent on these heroes, because at least that generates the chance to have that revive going on. By way of an emblem path, I generally, for Judge, He's not the greatest hero, so there are probably a lot of better options that you could put emblems on. But if you are going to put emblems on him, I'll just pull them up. I'd be looking at going an attack path on him, and that's just to boost his damage output. I'd also be then going probably defense as the secondary effect to improve the benefit of his armor. So what that looks like is we'd go left at the start to get attack and defense, then we'd go attack node. Here, this healing node is garbage, it doesn't really do anything, so we'd be going left again to get attack, and then we'd follow off with some final nodes. As I said, there's no real reason to grab the speed node, so you can just stop him at plus 18 there if you're going to put emblems on him. So yeah, that's the emblem path I'd follow. Heading back to the portal, and we can take a look at his special skill. So his special skill is titled Armor Splitter, and at level 10 and 47 charge speed, it will deal 275 damage to the target. If the target has enemies, it will deal an additional 133% damage to all enemies, and it will then generate 510 armor over 3 turns for the caster. So breaking that down a little bit, we'll start off with the damage component. So damage is actually quite hard to calculate, and because of the number of factors that feed into the damage calculation, it varies quite a lot from instance to instance. So what I do to compare heroes that deal damage is I calculate their attack power. So attack power is just their attack stat multiplied by the percentage in their special skill. This is roughly translatable to damage, so higher attack power will equal higher damage because it feeds into the damage calculation. To normalize against the different hero speeds, we then just divide that attack power by the number of tiles. So in the case of Judge, he's got 695 attack and 275% in his skill, which comes out with an attack power of 1911. When we divide that by the 11 tiles to charge him, he has an attack power of 174, which is the worst yellow sniper. There are 2 that are technically worse than him, which are Nutmeg and Yarlani, but they have to have no tiles on the board to be worse than Judge's base damage output. So yeah, he's not a very good sniper, but where Judge does become actually quite interesting is when the target enemy has armor, because then he's dealing out this extra 133% damage to all enemies, which when we feed that into this same calculation comes out with an attack power per tile of 594, which is higher than even the best sniper in Cooper. I mean, it's not exactly a direct comparison because Cooper is still a sniper in that instance, whereas Judge has transformed from being a sniper to being a sniper and DOA 5 hitter. So it's not a very good comparison. You can't really compare a DOA 5 to a sniper, generally speaking. But then on the flip side of it, you can't really say that Judge is a DOA hero because the bonus damage is only against armor. So it's not... It's a little bit of a weird one. Particularly because... yeah. Anyway, it's weird. Judge is a bit of a weird case. But it is... I think it's suffice to say that Judge isn't a great option when targeting one hero. His damage does become better when targeting a hero with armor, but even then it's a small DOA hit, so it comes out at being like 100 or 120 damage on a typical hero. So it's not a big strike that he's doing on all of the other enemies. Moving on from the direct damage, and we get to the self-application of an armor over time buff. So this will generate 510 armor over 3 turns. So 510 armor is pretty great. It's a little bit over a third of his current HP that he's generating armor. So this is either a 1/3 heal, or if he's already got full health, he's got a 1/3 overheal, which does lend quite a lot towards his survival. But there isn't much synergy between the armor over time and his damage. Like, he's not got anything in his skill which is saying if he survives or if he's the last man standing or blah, blah, blah. It's just to help him shoot off his weak shot another couple times. Yeah. So overall, Judge is a little bit of an interesting hero, but ultimately he's not really a great one. His base damage output is actually really poor for his speed and the fact that he's a sniper, although he does get a lot of improvement when hitting someone with armor and the bonus damage is applied to all enemies, but that bonus damage is only about 100-ish damage on average to each enemy, so it's not great. For me, for Judge to be a really great hero, he needed a lot more base damage output and also probably synergize with back to his own skill with that armor generation he gives himself. So if it was something to the effect of if the target or the if the target or the caster has armor, it will deal the 133% damage to all enemies. In that instance, you're pretty much going to then be getting that bonus damage on second plus casts, and there's ways you could possibly work around it to give him armor before he casts his skill. But ultimately though, his biggest failing is that he's a sniper and he has very low damage output as a sniper. So for judges grading, I am going to grade him with a C- for raid and war attack situations. In war machines, he's getting a D+ because he's got a reasonably low attack stat and doesn't actually contribute anything to war machine hits. Eventing, a D+ again. This is because, again, he's a sniper, he's not doing big damage output, so he's not really going to help you in events. On a defense team, so in your raid and war defenses, I'm probably going to give him a C+. He could be workable as like a survivalist winger and just chip away at the enemy over time, maybe, but even then that's a bit of a stretch. So yeah, he's not a great defensive hero either. For bloody battles, I'm going to give him a D grade for both attack and defense because he loses the armor generation and also the bonus damage, so he's just doing out that base terrible damage snipe. In buff boosters, a C grade for attack and a C+ for defense, so he does gain some buffs from the armor over time. And then in charged attacks, I'm also going to give him a C and a C+. So even though he does get a bit of speed improvement going from 47 to 65, he's still not a very good hero in that situation either. So overall, that comes in at a C- for attack and a C grade for defense. And that concludes this content for this review of Judge. As always, this is just my personal opinion on these heroes. I do love hearing your thoughts and feedback. So please do jump down into the comments section of this video and leave me a note there. I love reading them and I try to reply to as many as I can. If you did enjoy the video and found it to be useful, feel free to like the video, subscribe to my channel. There's heaps more content like this floating around. But most importantly, share the video around, because if you found it to be useful for yourself, chances are it's also going to be useful to the people that you play with as well. Thank you once again for tuning in and joining me. I do hope that I will see you again soon in another video, but until then, good luck, happy gaming, and stay safe. Cheers, bye!